Hello and welcome, fellow colorists. It's the end of January 2023. A new year has started and we are keeping track of all of our coloring pages in my new Creative Companion 2023. So I'm going to start the video with just a couple of stats. I don't normally share these, but I thought brand new year, maybe we'll try something different. So I'm just starting with, I have completed 13 videos this month. So in case you didn't know, I post a video every Sunday, Wednesday, and Friday. And then throughout the months, I'm trying to do a couple of shorts. So I did 3 shorts this month. I completed 22 pages. 5 of those were with buddies. 16 were for hashtags. And my subscriber count as of today is 1,172. So the channel has grown 50 new colorists. So welcome to all those new colorists. So glad you found us and hope you enjoy the content. We also are keeping track of my books. So I've done the books this year in books that I want to touch, and then books that I want to finish, and illustrators I want to focus on. So I haven't gone through that before, so this is new information. So I have picked 6 books that I want to complete. Some are getting close, some are a very big challenge, like this book has 80 pages in it and this book has 7, so there's quite a variety in there. And then I've got 4 illustrators I would like to focus on. So these are books, these are people that I have a bunch of their books, so I don't necessarily plan on completing any one book, but I would like to do a bunch of pages for those illustrators. So that's how I'm doing that. And we'll check in once in a while to my Creative Companion. I'm not sure that we'll share this every month, but I thought it might be nice to see how it's working for me since I did my first video on it last month. Let's jump right in, and I will start with the smallest to largest book size, and we will start with the Grand Classiques mini block. I did 2 pages in this book. This page here is Jasmine, and it was done for Pixies Projects hashtag Pixies Disney Coloring, and I used a variety of Dollar Tree metallic markers, some other markers, and a little bit of stickles and glitter on her see-through part of her dress and on her jewel in her crown. So that's that page. And then this page was also for a prompt. This is for a new prompt started by Spicy Cat Colors, and it's Spicy Cat Disney, I believe, is the hashtag. And she challenged us to watch the movie Brave, and I had never seen it before, so I did watch it and then color a picture from that movie. So this is Merida. She is the star of the show, the main character, and these 3 are her actual brothers that accidentally get turned into a bear for a while in the show. I used the Artex 126 colored pencils on this and a little bit of Jelly Roll metallic on the very outside, but otherwise this is strictly done with the Artex pencils and a alcohol marker. So that's Merida from the movie Brave. And that's it for the Grand Classiques mini block. Moving right along, we have the long-term hashtag hosted by Jojo Zahana here on YouTube. It's The Way Home, a galactic coloring book by Morgan O'Brien. She picks a page every month. This month she picked the Tauntaun page, and I did it with Prisma pencils and gold acrylic paint. So the paint will shine a little bit if I move the page a bit. But I just sponged the paint on the background. I had a bit of excess paint from another project I was working on, and I don't like to just throw it out. So I looked for a page that it would kind of go on. So that's how the gold paint ended up on this page. So this is for Grogu in 2022, finished in January. I'm in love with Grogu. That's The Way Home. The next book is Area Veil. It's a book by Chroma, and this is part of Complete Area Veil, hosted by Pixies Projects, and she selected the Stargazers page. She selects a different page every month. And I used some variety of markers. There's some glossy accents on the glass. There's some gel pen, there's some markers, glossy accents down here, some colored pencil. And I used around the outside is ink from an ink pad. There's a couple of different colors there. The pencils I used on here were the Brunswick 45 that I had done a review on previously, and also I was testing out some Crayola. So I've got a little bit of gel pen in there as well. And I always like to change one of the characters into a panda. So there's my little panda bear hiding. So we have, in my book, I have 6 pages left for this book. So I'm quite excited to finish that this year. A new book to me is the Morning Scribbles edition, the Frogs and Friends edition. And I was gifted this by my lovely friend Amanda from Amanda Colors, where she hosts a couple of challenges every month. One is the Frogs and Friends Color Along, and that's what this page goes towards. She also hosts AC Palette Challenge, so I used a Sarah Renee Color Palette 385 to complete this page. I added a little bit of clouds. There's some Winsor Newton iridescent medium on his wings, and some Stickles gel medium on his body, just to give him a little bit of bling. I had been using the new Ohuhu markers that I have since returned and done a review on, and as you can see, I have added a parchment paper, which is now turning yellow, but before I added the parchment paper, huge yellowing on this page. So I'm not sure if I'm going to reprint this page because it is a PDF, or if I'm going to try and recover this page. So we'll have to see. But also it was put to yellow on this side too, so it's quite a bit of yellowing. I am so glad that I returned those Ohuhu markers. I also tried to catch up on some of their earlier pages. So I did this cute little caterpillar, and I was using Crayola crayons for the friend here, and for the frog I used Crazy Art crayons, doing some testing for another series that's coming up in February. For this page I did some markers, and also I did some crayons, including I used a Jot neon crayon for the cone head here, and then it was very, very waxy, so then I took my hairdryer and tried to melt the wax and burnished it with a blender pencil. So it did work, but not quite as neon as it once was. So yeah, crayons and some markers, and I believe that, no, and one more page, this guy here, and this is a little, I used again the markers that were causing me grief for the Ohuhus, so definitely learning my lesson on buying cheap markers. And it's quite funny because you can see the total yellow outline here, both on the parchment and behind. So I definitely know what markers I used when I colored this. So yeah, but I thought he was a cute little frog. It's a very cute book. So I'm not sure. Again, I think I may first try and recover this page when I get back to this book. And if I can't recover, then I will reprint it since it is a PDF. But those were my 4 pages from the Frogs and Friends edition by Chris Rainiak. I did 2 pages here as a buddy color with my new friend Poet from Poet Spice here on YouTube. And we both selected a page. So I will post her picture as well after these. For this I used the Staedtler watercolor tinted graphite pencil, and also the Derwent Graphitint, and then a little bit of washi tape. And these fellows in these behind are the stained glass, and those come from another page before. So I was trying to make sure that the colors that I used on this page were the same colors in the stained glass. So that's where that comes from. I'm not sure which character this is, but he looked like he should be gray with a green cloak. And a little bit of green washi tape on the side. The second page that we did was this page. And again, I will share Poet's page as well. And again, I used the Neo Color 2 in this page, a little bit of gel pen. So I've been trying mainly to use water-soluble mediums in this book, and so far, as long as you're not using very much water, it has been fine. So yeah, so that's 2 pages done, and this is one of my books that I want to finish. So thank you to Poet for getting me 2 pages done this month. The rest of the books are all going towards my Johanna in January 2023. I will have a separate video this week showing all of the pictures that people posted to Instagram and used that hashtag. So I have a bunch of Joanna Bastards books. They don't get enough love. If I ever want to get some stuff done, I'm going to have to just jump in. So here is one of my pages. I've also decided that every month I'm going to challenge myself to do 1 altered page. So if I can, I will insert a picture of what the page looked like beforehand. And this is what the page looked like now. I used acrylic gouache as a base layer. I first drew the circles, and then I did acrylic. The green was acrylic gouache, and it wasn't covering it as much as I wanted to, and it was looking a little patchy. So I decided to grab my gold acrylic paint, and I used a sea sponge, and I sponged on the gold on top of that, and I just love the effect that it gave. I then used some different color pencils because I was still going through my pencil comparison series. So some of these pencils are different brands, and I was just testing them out. I then took a fine liner, and I put in some birds from a stencil, and my son looked at this page and he goes, well, what happened to the gecko that was supposed to be on that page? So I did find him, and he was down here in the corner, and he was easily spotted anyways. So I colored him in black so that that part of the book stayed intact. So this was one of my altered pages this month, and yes, it's the start of my 2023 challenge of 1 page a month. So really happy with how this one turned out. And that was from Magical Jungle. The next book I have in both the regular size, and then I also have the artist size. So you're going to see the artist size is my last book that I show in this video, but this one is Lost Ocean, and I did a couple of pages in here. The lovely Amanda from Amanda Colors agreed to do a buddy color with me, and I was using, let me see, I was using neon pencils. They were actually colored pencils that were a neon set. They were not very easy to color with. I was also using some Jot neon colored crayons, and I was using, on the background, I used the Silky Gel crayons, and I dry brushed those on. So I like how it turned out. I added some little other stenciled marine type items on the bottom of the page, and I tried to keep, if they were similar jellyfish, I kept them with the similar colors, so I kind of repeated them. So the pages definitely, I mean, it is a double page spread, but they definitely go together. And here is Amanda's page. Thank you, Amanda. Here is another altered page. This is the first altered page that I actually had done, and this was a video on how to tackle a wallpaper page and just get it done. I'm not a fan of wallpaper pages, but I do like how I was able to make it fun and interesting, and I used some mediums that I hadn't used in quite a while. So I used gelatos, and I actually took an actual puzzle, blew it up 200% on my photocopier, and did a few pieces, traced them out, and I used the Artex. This was the first time I was using the Artex acrylic markers, and they are definitely not as opaque as I would have liked. And had I known that, I probably would have colored underneath with a white gouache first before trying to paint them. So you live and you learn. You'll learn new items every time you're doing something. So this is my completed wallpaper page in Oceans, and the video is up on my channel should you wish to see a step-by-step. The next book from Joanna Bastards is her Enchanted Forest, and I did a couple of pictures in here celebrating the lunar year of the rabbit. I completed this as a color along on my page and posted it on the Lunar New Year. I've used pan pastels for the background and just colored pencil for the actual rabbit. And I believe I was testing out my Prisma pencils here, and I did have some success with them, so that was nice to have a page done. For this page I used a little bit of Jelly Roll gel pen, and it was the Artex 126 series pencils that I used. And then for the purple haze around here, I used the Kohinoor pastel pencils. So I haven't used my pastel pencils in quite some time, not really since I completed Ivy and the Inky Butterfly. So it's been quite a while, and that's a medium that I do want to break out and use more in the coming year. So that was this page. Just nice and light. Went for nice light colors. Really like the purple lavender kind of color on there. So there you go. The next Joanna Bastards book that I worked in was World of Wonders, and I did 3 pages in this book. And I did a buddy color with lovely Cindy V from Instagram and a subscriber here on YouTube, and we both ended up deciding that this horse really looked like a carousel, so we both added a pole and made it into a carousel. I also added a bunch of stars and some balloons to make it a party atmosphere. I like the colors that I selected, and the pencils I used on this was the Polychromos and some Zig markers, Neo 2, and some gel pen. So yeah, really happy with the vibrant colors of those flowers. Thank you very much, Cindy. It's always really fun to do a buddy color with a fellow Canadian and also a great colorist. This is another page. Was potentially going to be a buddy color, but we haven't completed, so we're just going to post it on my own, and it is the castle page. And I used a bunch. I used Polychromos, gel pens, stickles, the Fine Tech bronze paint, and Neo Color 2, and some Stickles gel medium. So there's quite a bit. I will have to move the kind of to get you to see the sparkle. But I've got paint on the roof on some of them, not all of them, but all of the ones that are kind of a copper color. And then I've got gel pen and paint around. The clouds are outlined in gel pen. Really happy with how this turned out. I did Neo Color 2 background behind the castle at first, and then it looked fine the way it was, but I wanted some kind of stars added to it. So I thought, well, let's try the gel medium on top, and I think it really makes it an interesting page that you can always see something different when you're looking at it. So I'm quite happy with how it turned out. And lots of leaves. If you know Joanna, even on a page that you don't think there's many leaves, holy moly, there was lots of leaves on this page. So yeah, took me quite a while, but I'm happy with the results. And this page is a video, and it's not this page, but this page had caused some damage to the other side. So I have a video on how I have recovered a page that was previously damaged. And so this is a separate video. There's lots of shine on this page. It is a combination of black flash acrylic paint, which is a folk art paint, and also a little bit of sponged on the treasure gold acrylic paint itself. And then over here we've got a little bit of stickles that shines when you move the page. So I had lots of fun doing this page. I like how it turned out. I like the fact that there are now there's no more bleed through of the watercolor from the other side. And yeah, I was able to finish another page, and you wouldn't have known that there was a problem with this page to start with. It's been totally covered up. And that is the last page out of Worlds of Wonder. I have 2 more books left. One book everyone will have seen for months. I started a series way back, I believe, in July or August of this year, and that was completing a page, double page spread. So I had done watercolor series on this side of all the different watercolor mediums that I had, and then on this side we did a different brand of colored pencils. So by the time you are seeing this video, the summary has been posted, and that was the last video of the month, I believe, and this is the final page. The series did involve quite a bit of work. I did quite a bit of investigation about each pencil brand and answered a bunch of questions on them. So if you are interested in which brand is in each box, I do a summary of that in the last video. There is a playlist for this series as well as a playlist for the watercolor series. And yeah, happy with how they all turned out. I learned lots, and I hope that it provided some value to you, my fellow colorist. And this is another page from the World of Flowers, and I took a mandala. I'm not a big fan of mandalas, so if I can change it up a bit, I tried to do that. So I did an altered page. I will show you a picture here of the page beforehand, and here is the page as it is now. I took a large stencil of a sun and I drew it on. I had applied a couple of different coats. First a yellow gouache, and then I did some orange gouache on top. Still wasn't looking great, so then I took and sponged. It was a little bit spotty, which was fine, but it wasn't the look I was going for. So then I took some gold, my treasure gold acrylic paint, and I sponged on just a little bit, just so that the model looked like it was supposed to be there. And so that's how the gold ended up on this. I then took a gold jelly roll and did the outline all the way around. I didn't want it to be black, and that would just like stand out too much, so the gold was actually nice. And then the rest is done in polychromos pencils and Cretacolor pencils. And also I used some Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens and a jelly roll. And here is more of the treasure gold acrylic paint as well, just on the edges. The 4 colors, the 4 flowers, sorry. So yeah, I like limited color palette, but I think that the effect is nice. Happy that another page is done. the last book, I'm going to zoom you out a little bit more, so hold on if that bothers you. Okay, I've moved the camera about out as far as I probably want to. So here is Joanna Bastards. It is an artist edition. I had not previously colored in this book, so I should have tagged it for Color Your Horde, but maybe I'll go and do that quickly in January still. But this is the page I did, and lots of different color mediums on this page. I started with brushing, doing the background, and I used the Silky Gel crayons for the background in 3 different colors. And then I took a stencil and some white iridescent gelato, and I made all of these lines so that it would look like movement in the water. Let's see if you can see that. I also drew on using a stencil and then freehand drawing on some fish and little things. I used the Peebo drawing gum to mask off the edges of the fish and also the bubbles so that they were not covered. So I did that first before I started doing everything else. I used a lot of pencils, and I used some gold fine tech paint. And for these little guys down here, I used some Winsor iridescent medium. Really happy to have a large page done. I used a little bit of glossy accents on both his eyes and his watch there. There will be a video of a sped up version of this, and I'm just going to do narration or talking throughout the video. So it will be a different kind of video. I haven't really done one of those, but I did film all of the process of how I did this. So if you're interested in seeing how it comes together and the different stages of it, then look forward to seeing that in August. And that brings me to the end of everything that was colored in January 2023. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you're doing well yourself. I hope you're being creative and you're not getting too much of the winter blues. It's snowing here in Canada this week. I have about 8 inches of fresh snow outside my window, and my neighbor is currently taking a tractor and digging me out. So thank you to my neighbor for that, and I hope you have a wonderful week, and I'll see you very soon in a video. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.